So welcome to the ARC Energy Investment Forum. I'm here with Bill Farren-Price, founder and CEO of Petroleum Policy Intelligence. Thank you so much for being a speaker here today.
It's great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we just had a great discussion on the changing rules in the oil markets, and geopolitics is still there. That isn't changing. First of all, tell us a little bit about PPI, your organization.
PPI is a boutique research and advisory firm. We have clients in the oil business and also hedge funds and other investment clients. And we try to provide them with research and an inside track on the more opaque elements of the oil-producing world, so Middle East, Russia, Central Asia, that sort of thing.
Right. And so you're doing scenarios, obviously, around what's going on with Iran, and that Trump has just recently announced that they're going to scrap the nuke deal, and what is that going to mean in terms of the production outlook from Iran?
Well, it's very unclear at the moment because they're unlike the sanctions that were introduced under Obama. There is no international consensus on how these sanctions against Iran should now be applied, and that's going to be a major deciding factor in terms of the implementation of any new measures by the US. Also, US extraterritorial sanctions on third-party countries are not that popular in the rest of the world, so there could be some pushback on that. However, having said that, we do expect it to result in a decrease in Iranian exports at the margin, especially to some Asian clients. I think that will take maybe between 12 to 18 months to start showing up.
Quite a long time.
So it could take quite a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the big tightening problem that would drive prices much higher, although prices have jumped a little bit higher, 3% this morning. And I think that's more because the risk of a broader sectarian conflict in the Middle East is suddenly much higher.
Right. Yeah, it brings all the tensions that were already there and just escalates them that much more.
Correct, yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's switch to Venezuela, another country where the outlook for supply is uncertain. They've gone from about 2 million barrels a day a year ago to about 1.5 now. What's the outlook for the rest of the year?
It's very, very poor. They are seeing sustained declines in output from their mature fields, and that is really driven by lack of maintenance and drilling activity. They've fallen out with so many international contractors because of lack of payment, and they've also got a problem from the Orinoco fields. They are limited on how much they can afford to now pay for imports of diluent crude so that they can blend and then export that extra heavy crude. So they have problems all over the shop. We think that they will lose potentially another 300,000 barrels a day by the end of the year.
Wow.
But there is a deeper, worst case scenario where we see a multiple number of issues like credit default, asset seizures, create an even worse situation. Potentially a strike of the oil workers could happen as well.
Wow. Okay, well, definitely lots to watch there and very uncertain. Lastly, we're going to come up here in June to another meeting with Russia and OPEC and decisions if they're going to continue to cut production to maintain the market. Do you think that this alliance will hold and that continue to balance the world oil markets?
I think the nominal alliance will hold and may even be built out. The narrative will be created that there is this framework for action between OPEC countries and non-OPEC countries. I'm not convinced that the adherence to the cuts will survive very much into the second half of the year. But in a way, it doesn't really matter because these cuts are small compared to the geopolitical risks that could impede production elsewhere now.
Right.
So they're really the wrong thing to be focused on. I think the real important thing to be focused on is the risk to Libyan production from fresh outbreak of violence, Venezuela, which we've talked about, Iran sanctions, which could be delivered higher than I just expected they could be. Yeah. And then, unknown unknowns elsewhere.
Right. Well, hey, so thank you so much. There's so much to watch. I think everyone needs to get PPI so they can keep up with all of the changing dynamic. And thank you so much for speaking at our conference today.
My pleasure. It's been great. Thank you.